Hello, here's Viking MtG again. This time we're going to talk about the PAX announcements of last week, in which we got revealed all the sets and, well, some comments I will do on this. Yeah, we have exciting news for next week. An announcement was made with all the next sets that will come out, as they want to do in the last, since the last months. They decided to already tell us what is coming for the period from March to July. This is just after we finish with the Kaladesh block. We have here, for example, Modern Masters on March 23rd. Then we have in May 19th the Dual Decks Mind versus Might. And then we'll have a quick, first MCAT, which would be the next block, finally setting us in the full cadence of the two set blocks and the 3 block standard. And then we would move to a very busy, let's say month and a half. This is June 9th. We'll have Commander Anthology. Almost immediately we'll have the Arch Enemy of Nicole Bolas, and finally, we'll have Hour of Devastation to finish off the MCAT block. Speaking of the rotation, which I have mentioned a moment before, I still want to comment something here, because Mark Rosewater, like he does every year, released his statement of the game on how it is doing. I will leave a link in the show notes anyway, so you can take a look. And he makes a pretty strong declaration saying that the 2 block a year is a success thing. And something I want to make a little bit clear is that we are not fully into the 2 blocks rotation yet. So declaring a success at this moment would be maybe a little bit too rushed, no? I like the idea, I love it. I was very much in favor when he first announced it. And this is something I want to see develop first before we can declare real successes. I think to declare this a success would still require about another year, maybe 2 years, to see how the rotations finally work out. If they don't work out well, then we would have a problem, no? But until now it looks good, but we still have one of the blocks, I will put quotes here, blocks, no? One of these blocks is still part of a 3 set block plus core set block, like he says in his text, no? So it is still not very well adapted. Plus we have seen some of the issues that it has generated, because they had to readapt the whole Eldrazi block into a 2 set block. And I think that's why, in part, we have in Shadows of Innistrad this appearance of the Eldrazi yet again. Something I'm not very happy with, just from the story perspective. I mean, the set was interesting and great, but that's too many Eldrazi. Something he also accepts as one of his mistakes in his State of Design article. I still would err more on the side of wait and see. I hope it is a success, because that's something I really like. No, another news. We have the announcement of Modern Masters. This is the one on March 23rd. In this case, they're going to do the reprint set every 2 years. This confirms that most probably in the future we will get a Modern Masters every 2 years, which is great. I mean, we need reprints just to handle a little bit the prices on some cards, maybe not on each one of them. No? What I want to comment on this is there is always this speculation that maybe in Eternal Masters, maybe in I even heard a Commander set, or maybe even in Modern Masters, that they will find the reprints of the enemy colored fetch lands, something I do not agree with at all. First off, this is a great asset for Wizards to sell a set, especially if they think the set may do not so well at one point. With this, they can get potential buyers, and not only potential buyers, there will be buyers. So I think that wasting the slot on Modern Masters would be too much. It's much better that it goes through Standard. Something that has been shown to us through Dragons Cans of Talkr. In Cans of Talkr, we had the fetch lands, and it sold pretty well just because of that. I mean, amongst other things, no? And I think that speculating that Modern Masters 2017 will have these lands is way too much expectancy. We should not bank on that, and I would prefer not for them to bank on that, because second, one of the problems that this generates is Modern Masters is a very limited release set. So if this is a limited release set, this means that there will be not many copies, and they will not cover the demand. There will be not enough supply, and thus the demand that is there for the lands will not lower the price. Maybe it will make them even rise more, because more players want to play, thinking that they can get all the fetch lands they need. Something that happened with Tarmogoyf. Now, Tarmogoyf had this effect in which if you opened one, you either sold that, or you got the other three to play Jund or any other variation of those decks. No? In any case, I don't think it's a good idea to print those there. I suspect that Wizards is planning to reprint the enemy colored fetch lands in the future, maybe by the end of 2017 when the correct set comes out, or maybe even in 2018. So all I can say is now patience, and stop speculating on when these lands are coming, because we already had a disaster with the battle for Zendikar block. No, they really thought that they would put all 10 fetch lands in one standard, and I since the beginning I thought that was too much. I mean, at least they gave us the expeditions, but it didn't do much. So I do think that if we are going to see a reprint of these lands, they are going to appear much later, first, and second, in a standard legal set. So there will be enough copies around to really reduce the price of the lands. No? Like I always say, when Wizards say they don't pay attention to the secondary market, it's not true. They know how much these lands cost, and they know that they can sell sets with that. Now, on the other announcement, we have MCAT and Hour of Devastation, which has a very interesting twist now. Well, two twists. The first one is that we will finally see Nicole Bolas again. I haven't played in a set where Nicole Bolas is the main villain, but I am pretty excited to see what it is, because I know that Nicole Bolas is very popular enemy, and this coincides very well, or they made it on purpose, obviously, with the release of the arch enemy Nicole Bolas. So I think that is a very good way to sell some arch enemy product here. No, Nicole Bolas just makes me laugh. If you speak Spanish, you will understand why. Anyway, also something interesting is the flair of the text, the flavor of the text. No, this time we will be in an Egyptian themed set, which is pretty great. I mean, I have played in Kamigawa and obviously Cans of Talkr, and I have never been a big fan of the Asian settings. Anyway, that's something I don't quite get, to be honest. But seeing an Egyptian set really makes me hyped about it, because this is really different, but this is also very exotic, much more exotic than the Asian sets, and I think you can do a lot of stuff with this. Now, we'll see what this set will have. We know that there will be 5 gods and some trials and stuff like that, and we know that Nicole Bolas dominates this plane, so it will be interesting to see how the world is shaped around the notion that Nicole Bolas is just the one and the only. No. But it definitely looks nice. I mean, just this picture shows a lot that could be interesting to many people, many people. Now, so I'm quite expectant, and I am waiting to see this set fully unfold. Now, obviously, I'm first trying to enjoy the Kaladesh set. We will talk about spoilers the next week. But in general, all the announcements that we have seen have very promising things. Maybe one last comment that I would make about this is I think that there are too many products in just one short period of time, and I understand they want to sell, but definitely there's one point that the money runs out. So I think the schedule just goes way too fast to really be concentrating on buying this thing or this other thing. So choose wisely what you're going to buy. Now, if you're a fan of Commander, for example, you could buy the Commander Anthology, which will include four decks of the previous years. In any case, um, well, you will have to find your own interest, but I definitely cannot buy most of this, and I think that the Wizards should slow down a little bit on that, because definitely, even though they need to make money, they have to take into account that most of the public doesn't have that money. Anyway, you don't have to buy it, which is a very important tagline here. Anyway, so next week we're going to talk about the spoilers and the interesting cards that have come out and the exciting new things and that have been spoiled, just to prepare you a little bit for the next pre-release and what I think of the cards. In any case, like always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And yeah, if you have any comment on, for example, what MCAT will be like, well, go ahead, comment on it. What do you think about Modern Masters and how it is revealed? What do you think about the fetchland situation? And finally, what do you think about these release schedules? First, should they be all packaged like they are doing right now, or do you prefer the slower ones? I mean, I don't care honestly, but maybe maybe you have some good points on that, and that's something I would like to read about. Also, the second point would be if you agree with me that it's too many things in just one short period of time or not. Well, in any case, well, I leave you to it, and goodbye.